Okay, we are now recording. And when you see this little circle here with the 2 bars and it's counting, that means you're recording. If you ever see that not counting, let me know. Or you don't see the icon, I forgot to turn it on or it died or something. So let me know so I don't botch that. Okay. Now, let's go from, here we go. Now, the old Blackboard was called Blackboard Learn, and it used that icon. The new Blackboard is called Blackboard Learn Ultra, and it uses this icon. I don't know if that makes any difference to you or not. It sounds like it doesn't, but that's how I have to do it. And like I say, everything is different for us, including how we log in. This is not how we used to log in. If I could spell my name. Now, we have to sign in with a third-party account. Y'all don't have to, is that right? You didn't have to go through something like this. Good for you, okay? Because I always forget to do that. And why? Okay, here it goes. And then I sign in again. And again. It didn't work. All right. I say all right, but still trying to wake up. This is why I don't teach from Blackboard. It's so slow. But I did want to expose you to this today and to let you see how to navigate. And since you've looked at it, tell me if your navigation looks the same way as this, because instructor and student the modules don't always look the same. All right. I go to courses. I don't know if that's what you do. Okay. And I go to this course. All right. Now, all right, this is the first time that the format has come up right. Okay, so that's amazing. So anyway, is this anything like yours is looking? Okay, all right. So it is, I think, easier to navigate if once you get to here, it's easier to navigate. So let's start with the syllabus. Good place to begin. We may not finish all this today, but we'll get as far as we can. All right, so let's go with the syllabus. It's out there. All of you can see it. I'll point it out. I'll point out the places where, okay, why won't you open? I guess I have to download original file. This is awkward. Did you try to open it from here?
I didn't try to open it.
Okay. It seems like you ought to be able to click on it and open it, but then you have to come down here to do this. Hopefully it'll be easier from your side. But I just wanted you to see this, and so it won't be that big a shock. Maybe the only time I'll teach from this, because it is slow. It is very slow. So why is this not opening? Now it's opening, it says. This is why I do not teach from Blackboard. It is slow and awkward, and I thought the new one would be much faster, but it's not. Here we go, finally. Maybe. Here we go, finally. Yuck. How can it be so? I don't know. If I'd have used my flash drive, it would have been up like that. I hope. We'll see. I love Microsoft products. They are so reliable. I'm being facetious, of course. Come on. It seems like it's lost in space here. Let me see if I can shake it a little bit. Can't be that hard to open. It says it's running. Well, now I've made the dots quit moving. Yuck. Okay, if y'all have any suggestions on how to make this go better, should I start over? Well, here we go. This might do it faster. I don't know. We've seen this before. Ah, look at this. It's going to open now. This is like watching paint dry. Come on. It can't be the... Ah, here we go. Here's our syllabus. Okay, finally. There may be some corrections on here. I'll tell you where. Okay, this is Math 112. Is everybody in the right place? Pre-calculus algebra. All right. Software and Blackboard supported course. 3 credit hour course. We actually meet for only 2.5 hours a week, but it's a 3 credit hour course. Meet Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 to 9:45. And Investment Campus, 8 to 2:55. Y'all are all in the right place. Here's my information. If you hadn't gathered already, I'm Charles Fowler. My office on this campus is in A265. Now, she's used to reading these things. Here is the map of the second floor of this building. Okay, here is where we are right here in this classroom, corner classroom here. There's a half flight of stairs you just came up. Here's my office down here. Go out the door, hang a left, go down the half flight of stairs, almost to the end of the hall. Right before you get to the stairwell going down to the first floor, up to the third floor, 265 is the office right there, right next to the mechanical room. So that's where I live on campus. I'm here mostly Monday through Thursday, and 265. Here's my phone, office phone, 929-3449, here on this campus. And let me give you a warning here. Please, if you're going to call during my office hours. I'll get to them later. Our voicemail is spotty. Sometimes I can get it, sometimes I can't. So I hate for you to leave me a message and I never hear it. Okay? So just don't even bother with the voicemail. Try to call during my office hours. And if it is during my office hours and I don't answer, don't leave a voicemail. Try to call back later during my office hours. Most of the time, I'll be there sometime during those hours. Okay? So don't bother leaving phone messages. Okay? My email. Okay? Ever since registration began, I think I've had maybe a total of 15 minutes that I can get on email because it's been so crazy with registration. So I'm way behind on email, but I'll try to catch up as the term goes on. All right. Now, on Fridays, I'm on the Birmingham West Campus, and my office there, it's not really my office, but it's B122. Are any of you familiar with the Birmingham campus? Okay. You know where the academic building is, that long building? You know, there's sort of a quad of buildings, the A building, the B building, C building, and library building, D, right? Yes, that's exactly where I am, in Dr. Pruitt's office. When you go in his office suite, the secretary's desk is right in front of him. Right behind, Miss Rose, okay? Right behind her desk is the copy room. That's my office on Friday mornings, okay? So that's where I'm on Friday mornings, B122 is Dr. Pruitt's office. My name's not on that door, but that's where I am. Now, for those of you who are not as familiar with the B building, if you know what I'm talking about there, that on the West Campus, that quad of of buildings. There's the A building here, administration building. B building is that long classroom building. Then the C building is a sort of short building. It's the science building. And then the D building is the library building. Okay? That long one in the back. The end of that building toward the gym, the tennis courts, and the baseball field, when you come up that half flight of stairs from the outside, that when you step on that top step, Dr. Pruitt's office is right there, B122. Okay. Here's my number on Friday mornings, 929-6409. Now, definitely don't leave me a voicemail there, because that's not my phone number. That just happens to be the phone that's in that office. That office is used by a grant coordinator part-time Mondays through Thursday. She's not there on Friday, so I use that office on Friday. So if you leave a message there, she'll get it. I'll never hear it. Okay, so she'll not know what to do with it. So don't leave a message there either. But I'm usually there 8 to 12 on Friday mornings. Okay, you'll get to that in a minute. So here's my office hours as I know them now. On Mondays and Wednesdays, or Mondays, let's just start with Mondays. Mondays and Wednesdays, okay. My 8 o'clock class, I had to give to someone else who needed it, so the 8 to 10 o'clock, I'm free on Monday and Wednesday. And then I'm in class 10 o'clock, basically through 3:45, okay? And then on Mondays, I'm free from 3:45 until 6. So Mondays 8 to 10, 3:45 till 6. Wednesdays is only 8 to 10. I'll get to that in a minute, why I don't have this time here. Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's the days we meet. I'm here from 8 to 8:30. I was this morning. Most mornings I'll be here before 8, and I'll try to be up here in the classroom before 8:30. I wasn't today, but hopefully I'll be in the future. Now, I put on yours 9:45 until 11:30. I'll have to check that time. I was anticipating one of my classes may not make. I think it's going to make. So this may change. So hang on to that here and here. Okay? But I'm free right after this class is over with from 9:45 until 10 anyway. But I think the 10 o'clock class is going to make. I thought maybe it wouldn't, but it has. So I'll have to change that. Okay, so Tuesdays and Thursdays. But basically, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have the 8:30 class, 10 o'clock class, 11:30 class, and the 1:15 class. So there's just not a lot of office hours in there. The 1:15 class is a mini-term class with a lab, so it goes from 1:15 to 5:45. So my whole afternoon is in that class. So I will adjust this once I see if that class is made. All right, Fridays 8 to 12 Birmingham. Usually I'm there before 8, and most of the time there after 12, but officially that's what I put. Okay. Now, course description. This is not something I came up with, or anyone here at the college came up with. A committee of the two-year college system people and the state-supported four-year colleges and universities in the state of Alabama came up with this course description. If we teach this, they give you credit for it. Okay? And that is, pre-calculus, as the name suggests, consists of topics from algebra and trigonometry. We're on the algebra part. 113 is the trig part. Okay? So that's not in this course. Okay? That form the foundation of calculus. Pre-calculus, algebra. So it forms the foundation. This course emphasizes the algebra of functions. Hang on to that concept. That's what we're going to be focusing on, especially the first part, including polynomial functions, rational functions, exponential and logarithmic functions. The course also covers systems of equations and inequalities and quadratic inequalities. Okay, we'll be doing this basically as we're doing the other part. There is a section in the book, I seldom get to it, okay? So we may not get this far. This is the main focus of the course, the algebra of functions, okay? Prerequisites has a minimum prerequisite of high school algebra. It should be algebra 2, but they say, oh no, algebra 1, geometry, and algebra 2 with an appropriate mathematics placement score. Basically, it gets down to if you scored for it, you should be here. If you made intermediate college algebra and passed that, you should be here. And I don't even know if they use the mathematics as that placement test anymore. Whatever the ACT score is, it may be a 21 or a little bit lower, I don't know. anyway, that's how you got here. Hopefully, you're all here. You either taken and passed Math 100 or you scored to be here. Okay? So, shouldn't be a problem there. The co-requisite, there is none. The textbook is this one. Okay? Pre-calculus algebra. It's the 10th edition. The author is Ron Larson. Now, I've taught from many different texts over many, many years, many different authors. I have seldom found an author who provides as much support as Ron Larson does. There are some things about how he writes and approaches things I don't really care for that much, but I've never seen an author who provided more materials to support the course than he does. So I think you'll find this a very good book to use. Okay? It's a Cengage learning book, which I'll get to in a second. The copyright was 2018, which means probably be around a year or two more, and then they'll probably go with a new edition. Please bring paper, you will need paper, graph paper, and pencils. I provide graph paper for quizzes and tests if you need it, but if you like your own, you can bring that. It says pencil here. I didn't write this. Somebody else did. I'll make a confession here. When I do math, I tend to make errors, and y'all are going to learn that pretty quickly, okay? So I like to use pencil so I can erase. But if you prefer using ink, I don't care. It's blotchy and stuff, but if you don't make that many errors, that's fine. That's fantastic. Okay. So anyway, now, are y'all all familiar with this Cengage Unlimited thing? Okay. If you go through this for $119 or something about like that for the semester, any course that you're in with the Cengage book, you get. You don't have to pay for every book individually. $119 will cover every Cengage book that you need in any of your courses. Okay? So, it's a pretty good deal. However, it's only an ebook. If you do want a paper copy, they will sell you for a very reduced amount once you pay the $119. I think it's stuff like $8 to $10, $10 to $15, something like that. They'll sell you a loose leaf that you have to get a binder to put it in, but you can't go that route if you want. Okay? At the bookstore, right? And I don't know how you go about doing it at the bookstore, but I'm sure they can tell you there. Okay? I've never gotten on Cengage Limited there. Unlimited. Yeah. And you can read all this. To me, this is a lot of advertising for Cengage. I don't think that's appropriate in a syllabus, but they say we have to put it there. Okay, so you can read all this. Now, here are the other courses here at Lawson that use Cengage books. And you see there's a whole bunch of them. The chemistry, computer science, English, history, math, music, physics, psychology, sociology, Spanish. There's a whole bunch of them. So all of these, if you're in any of these courses and they're using a Cengage book, that $119 covers them all. Okay? There are other price ranges if you want to do a whole year or 2 years. You can do that. Okay? Information there about not throwing away your receipt, that kind of stuff. You come with a code. You need the code later. All right. Finally, we get back to this. All that was advertising for Cengage. I'll let you read that. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer, or someone else who knows more than me can answer too. Blackboard. All courses must use Blackboard to gain access. I don't like the way they've written this. To vital course information such as the syllabus, handouts, PowerPoint shows, activities, assignments, announcements, so forth. Now, I'm going to show you where that is in Blackboard. That's why I'm teaching for Blackboard today. I don't usually do this. We're looking at the syllabus now. That's in Blackboard. It was hard to get to open, but it was there. Handouts. Most of the time, if there's a handout, I'm going to hand them out to you. So don't expect too many of those things. I don't usually put them on Blackboard. PowerPoint shows. I'll show you that in just a few minutes. You can see all the PowerPoints in static form. But this, and guess what? I record all the lectures. I teach from PowerPoints. So you get to see and hear me teach from PowerPoint. So it actually will be there in two places. Under the static form, I'll show you where that is in a few minutes. And then under the YouTube videos, I'll show you where that is. So you actually get PowerPoints in 2 different places. Okay? Activities. Now, the school sometimes posts activities on Blackboard. I can't think of that many activities we'll be doing, so I won't be posting many activities there. Assignments, I already got one out there, your research paper. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Announcements, most of the time, the school makes these announcements. I don't do a big deal about making announcements on Blackboard. There may be a few times, but most of the time I'm going to make the announcements in class. And guess what? They're going to be on Blackboard because I'm recording the class. So you can go to the YouTube video and get the announcements that way. But I don't type them out usually. Occasionally I might, if something big comes up, that something has to change. And let me go on and hit this for right now. I know that we'll be missing, I'm guessing, 2 classes this term. I hate to miss a class, okay? You've been in my class before. How many did we usually? Okay, and that I hated it if I had to, okay? Here's why. I've got a mild form of leukemia, and my hematologist only sees patients on, guess what, Tuesday mornings. So the odds are I'll have an appointment sometime later this term, and I'll probably miss class that day. Now, if he puts the appointment late enough, maybe we'll squeeze in most of this class, but if not, otherwise. And then 2, just this week, turned 69, meaning next year I'll be 70. And after 70, I'm off. I'm going, okay? I'm retiring. So they have a retirement seminar coming up either Wednesday or Thursday sometime this term. And the odds are I'm going to get the Thursday one. Okay, I don't know that for sure, but so I'll probably miss that one. But if I can't get that one and I get Wednesday, then we won't miss that class. But anyway, so I only know of 2 classes I'll be missing. I'll tell you plenty of time in ahead, but if something changes, I'll put it on in the announcements. But most of the time, I don't mess with announcements. I do not like this next sentence. Failure to use Blackboard will severely damage your ability to pass the course. Now, I know a lot of people teach from Blackboard. Everything's on Blackboard. I don't. I teach from the class, okay? So if I were writing this, I would say the proper use of Blackboard could greatly enhance your ability to do well in the class. It's a much more positive statement, I think, closer to reality. I don't like this sentence. Students should always check the Blackboard announcements and task pages prior to coming to class. Why would they put that sentence in there? Comma. Why? Why would you need to check that before you came to class? To see if I have canceled class, right? And guess what? If I can possibly help it, I'm never going to cancel a class. If something really major happens, the odds are I'm not going to be able to get on Blackboard and say, I can't be at class today. I just don't cancel classes. Okay, if I can help it. Okay, professional competencies and objectives. Student learning outcomes. Students will identify, analyze, graph. This book loves graphing, folks. Transform and combine functions and determine inverse functions if they exist. Wow. Okay? If you happen, I don't see many of you with a text, but if you happen to have the text, Chapter 1 is functions and their graphs. Okay? 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3 are basically review of intermediate algebra. So when you get your book, go through those sections. If there's anything that you're a little fuzzy on, ask, and we'll go over that. Otherwise, we're not covering 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. We're starting in 1.4. Guess what the name is? Functions. Okay. So we are starting with 1.4 functions. Okay. That's what it says here, and you'll notice here, analyzing functions, graphs of functions, parent functions, transformations of functions, combinations of functions, composite functions, inverse functions. That's what Chapter 1 is. And if you go back to the course description, the course concerns the algebra of functions. That's what Chapter 1 introduces you to. So we'll do 1.4 through 1.6. No, 1.9. 1.4 through 1.9. Second, students will divide and find zeros of polynomial functions. If you go back to the course description, you'll notice including polynomial functions that work with and work with complex numbers. Now, we're just going to do a little bit of complex numbers, That was not in the course description, but I'll introduce you to that in case you need it. Well, guess what? That's chapter 2, 2.1 to 2.5. That's polynomial functions. Okay? Students will find domains and asymptotes of rational functions and analyze their graphs. That's 2.6, rational functions. So chapter 2 is polynomial, 5 sections, and rational functions, 1 section. So there's your polynomial and rational functions. Students will graph and use the graphs of exponential and logarithmic functions, use the properties of logarithms, and solve exponential and logarithmic equations. That's chapter 3, exponential and logarithmic functions. And we'll do 3.1 through 3.4. We don't do the modeling. Okay? Now, most of the time when I teach this course, that's as far as I get. Okay? We don't really get into, we'll try to solve systems of equations and inequalities, but hopefully you had that in Math 100 or in high school or somewhere in the past. So that's just, to me, more of a review. Okay? And students will write a library or internet-based research paper, application paper, on some topic in pre-calculus. That's your writing requirement. And there's not many math instructors, I think, that require that. Guess what? You all lost. You got me. So you will be required. Now, here are the course competencies guide sheet. Now, this is basically just a thing repeating what we just did. Okay? Chapter 1, identifying, analyzing, transforming, combining functions and inverse functions. Okay. Remember I said 1.4 to 1.9. 1.4 to 1.6, we'll do that far, then I'll give you a take-home quiz. Usually 1 page, around 10 questions, something like that. Those 3 sections, the first half of the chapter. Okay? Then at the end, when we finish 1.9, you'll have an in-class test. Okay? Now, of course, your quiz is open book, open notes, open anything. All your resources you may want to get, you can use to try to work through the quiz. The test is in class. It's not open book and not quite open notes, but I do allow for every test, including the final exam, you to have a formula and equation sheet. Anything you want to write on a piece of paper, front and back, as small as you want to write it, is that you can read. Anything you want to write, bring that formula and equation sheet to class for any test we have, including the final. Okay? So it's not open notes, but you can write a lot of your notes on that formula and equation sheet. You see, in my mind, how I approach mathematics is not memorization. I hate memorizing. I just detest memorizing, okay? So I think math is using concepts. So therefore, write down the stuff you need to know. Because guess what? If you work for me, if we had a company and you work for me, I would not want you to say, oh, I've memorized that formula, I don't need to look it up. No, I want you to look up any formula you have to make sure you've got it right. Otherwise, you may have a plus or minus sign wrong. You can get everything wrong. I want you to look it up. So therefore, I don't want you memorizing things. I want you knowing how to use the math. You can always look it up. That's what cell phones, the internet, all that is there. You can look up anything you want. It's how you use it. That's what this course is about. Okay? So midway through every chapter is a quiz. At the end, you have a test. The test will cover those 3 sections we covered on the quiz. In fact, the first page of the test is going to be similar, not the same, similar to that quiz. Second page is going to be more than the next 3 sections or so. Chapter 2, quadratic and polynomial functions, synthetic division, complex numbers, zeros of polynomial functions, rational functions. Again, 2.3, after 2.3, you'll have your quiz. After 2.6, you'll have your test. Okay? Chapter 3, exponential logarithmic functions and their graphs. If we have time, usually we run out of time before we get here, we'll have a quiz and a test. Otherwise, it may just be the test. That's how it's been the last couple of times. The chapter 7, now notice it went from 3 to 7. What happened there? 4, 5, and 6 are the trig part. And if y'all stay around, hang around, and take pre-calculus trig, same book, we'll use those 3 chapters will be in that book. So chapter 7, linear and nonlinear systems of equations, 2 blah, 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 blah. So far, I haven't gotten there. Okay, maybe this term we'll get there. I doubt it, but we'll try. Okay, research and writing, your research application paper. Okay, and then the overall student learning outcome, it will be your comprehensive final exam. Comprehensive means it covers everything that we've done in the course, and it is basically functions, okay, and that is required because this is how I measure what you picked up in the whole course. So don't come at the end of the term, I've made 8 on all my tests, do I have to take the final? Yes, you do. It's required, okay? We'll get to that. So let's go down here and talk about evaluation and assessment, okay? They put a lot of extra words in here. A paper is required in the course. That research paper is not optional. It's required, okay? It will count as a quiz score that cannot be dropped, okay? So if you don't turn in a paper, 0. If you do a really lousy job on the paper, low score. Don't do a lousy job. Do a good job, okay? Okay, it's required. It cannot be dropped. A take-home quiz will be given about midway through each chapter, like I described before, and I will drop the your lowest quiz score, other than the research paper, if it helps your quiz average. Now, if you have a 0 on the paper, you're going to need every quiz score you can to bring that up. So I only do that. So be given about midway through. The lowest quiz score, except for the paper, may be dropped. That's why I put the may in there. I don't want to say I will drop it, because if it hurts you, I'm not going to drop it. If it helps you, I will drop it. The remaining quiz scores and the paper score will be averaged. That quiz average may replace your lowest test score. Okay? So in other words, if the quizzes are take home, you should do pretty well on those. The research paper, you have all term to work on it. You should do well on that. So if that quiz average is higher than your lowest test score, I'll replace your lowest test score with a quiz average. Okay? So that's how that works. Okay? Tests will be given at the end of each chapter covered. The lowest chapter test score may be replaced by the quiz average if your quiz average is higher than your lowest test score. Again, you didn't turn in the research paper, or you didn't turn in quizzes and stuff and have a really low quiz average, and your tests are greater than that, I'll count your test. I don't make you take the quiz average. Okay. So, whatever. Now, the comprehensive final exam will be given. It cannot be dropped. Cannot be dropped. It will count as either 1 or 2 test scores, usually 1 test score. And the average of the quiz average, remaining hourly tests, and the comprehensive final exam will determine your final grade. Now, the reason I say 1 or 2 tests, most of the time when I'm teaching this course, at the end of the term, we're still in that last chapter, and I don't like to give a test the week before a final, because that's just too many tests right at the end. So usually then I'll give you, your final is a 2-hour, hour 50 minutes. So usually what I do is 1 test on the last chapter, and then 1 hour test on the final. So since it's hour test, I count it as 1 test. Okay. So now, the dean or whoever came up with this syllabus put in all this stuff about plagiarism, okay? And if you get the gist of it, don't do it, okay? I'm not going to go over all that. Just don't do it, okay? Why they put it here, I don't know. But anyway, they did. How we determine grades, if you have in the 90s, you get A's, 80s, B's, 70s, C, don't go down here, okay? The 60s are D's, and below that are failures. Now, Lawson used to have the policy that D was not a passing grade. Not a failing grade, but not a passing grade. So anytime you made a D, you had to repeat the course. And some classes, that's still the case. They're just really vague about which ones they are. So I can't say for sure, but try to stay up here, by all means. Now, F is a failure. Now, I wasn't supposed to change this, but I had to. Let me tell you how this used to read. The instructor always rounds up, never down. That's how this first statement read. And then the second statement was exactly this one. For example, a 79.5% will be rounded up to an 80% of B. But a 79.4% would remain a C. Well, guess what? That's rounding down. Okay? But her first statement here was always rounds up. So I just changed it to read, the instructor always rounds normal. Anything a 0.5 or greater is going to go up. A 0.4 or less will be dropped off. So that remains 79. It's not a big deal. Most of the time, you're not going to be right at that one little point. Okay. Yes?
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So, say that I have a 68 point something. Like,
No, make a 70. Okay.
I'm just hypothetically talking. Like,
Okay.
Like, would you help a student get to a C in one of the things?
I try to help as much as I can. That's why I drop your quiz score. That's why I drop your test score, replace it with it. That's why I give you the quizzes and take home. I do everything I can. Yeah.
How long is the research paper?
Okay, we'll get to that later, but since you asked, I'll go on and say 1 to 2 pages. It's not a huge deal. Not a huge deal. Just 1 to 2 pages. Okay? But we'll get to that in gory detail later. Okay. The key here, attendance, try to be here. Even though I'm recording the classes, guess what? Screencast-O-Matic, this actually happened once. The school forgot to pay the renewal fee. And I came in to teach a class. I could not get it to come up. I called to see what was happening. They said, whoops, we didn't pay. It's going to take a week or 2 for us to get it paid. So I couldn't record it. I can't control that. Sometimes the supercomputer goes out, and the whole system goes down. I can't record. YouTube may fail. I don't think it's likely, but it could. So don't count on this being recorded. I'm going to try to record every class we have, but you can't bank on that. Try to be here every day. And guess what? Try asking a YouTube video a question. You know, it's just going to keep on trying. In class, you can ask questions, we can interact. Okay? So try to be here every day. Okay? Now, let's talk about this withdrawal. I'm so glad this is still up here. I don't know how many of you are on federal financial assistance, Pell Grant or something else, VA, something like that. But most of the time, those work this way. If you have to repeat a class, now that could be because you made a D, an F, or you withdrew. Okay? Those are the times you would have to repeat a class. They will pay for 1 repeat. If you fail, make a D or an F, any combination of those twice, they won't pay for the next one. Okay. Now, so for Pell Grant purposes, a D, an F, or a W, all are treated the same. A D, hopefully you're not going to make a D, but hopefully that would pull down your grade point average, because a D is a 1.0, okay? Hopefully your grade point is better than that, so that would pull you down. An F is definitely going to hurt your grade point average. A W does not. A W does not hurt you academically at all. It doesn't affect your grade point average at all. So if you are in a situation, say you have a 58 average coming in, and there's no way that you think you can get that up to a passing grade, a W is far better than a D or an F. If you're on federal financial aid and you're going to have to repeat the course, do it with a W, not with a D or an F, because these hurt your grade point, that one doesn't. Okay? They all are treated by financial aid the same, so there's no difference there. It's just these hurt your grade point, that one doesn't. Now here's the other thing. When you get to see it, and it's coming up later, you'll see a place that says 60% completion date on the college calendar. That means we're through with 60% of the course. At that point, if you withdraw before that point, you're going to owe the money back if you're on federal financial aid. If you withdraw after that point, you're not going to owe it back. So if you're going to withdraw and you're on federal financial aid, wait until the 60% completion date. Otherwise, you're paying it back. Okay? So save yourself some hassle. Okay. I'm not encouraging you to withdraw. I think you'll all be able to pass if you do the work, and you can do the work. Okay. Make up work. Let me put it this way. Your quizzes, I'm going to suggest and recommend and encourage you to get them in within a week. If you need more time, you can have more time. But you definitely have to get the quizzes in before you take the test on that chapter. Otherwise, you have to ask me politely to give you a 0 on the quiz. And if you ask me politely, I can't refuse you, okay? But please don't. Please get your quizzes in as soon as you can. And here's why I say that. Because if you get them in soon, I can get them graded and get them back to you, and you can see what you missed. But it never fails, especially with a class this big, that somebody is not going to turn in the quiz on time. And if there's still a quiz out, I can't return your quizzes to you. I can let you see your quizzes, I can let you see what you missed, but I can't return them to you until I get them all in. So please don't be that person that holds up anybody else getting back their quiz. Get your quizzes in as soon as you can get them in, okay? So that's makeup work there. Okay, how about tests? You know, if you got the flu, I don't want you coming in here to take a test, okay? I don't want you exposing me and the rest of the class to the flu. So if you do have to miss, that's okay. But try to get it made up within that week. You know, same type deal, within a week. Now, if you're on military service for 2 weeks, active duty for training or something like that, hey, we understand that. As soon as you can, get back in and take the test, okay? But again, I can't return a test to you until everybody's turned those in. Don't be that person that is holding everybody else up from getting your test back. So try to get your test made up within a week. I'll get them graded, and as soon as I get them all in, you get them back, okay? Most days, I'm going to try to be here before 8:30. I'm going to try to get started right at 8:30, so try to be here on time. I understand sometimes life gets in the way, okay? Get here when you can. It's better for you to be here than not be here, so get here when you can. Academic integrity. Here's flavorism again. Let me summarize. Don't do it, okay? You can read all this, but don't do it. Okay, cheating. Let me summarize. Don't do it, okay? Do your own work. It's not helping you to cheat. You won't learn the material that way, okay? So, don't do it. Professional decorum. My goodness, to me this is, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say this. Waste of time and effort to even go over this. But, let's go over it. Because it's here. I'm not going to go over it in gory detail, but avoid behaviors that are distracting and disrespectful for your classmates. That's the key, folks. Okay? I really don't care on a lot of this stuff unless it's bothering somebody else. If it's bothering somebody else, I don't want that to happen. Okay? So, texting and unauthorized use of internet, if you're bothering somebody else, don't do it. And the odds are with this, you're packed in here that tight together, you might be. Sleeping, reclining, lounging, so forth. Especially if you snore. If you're snoring, you're bothering other people. So please try not to snore, okay? So, I'm being too facetious. Speaking out of turn and speaking rudely and unkindly, especially if it's to a classmate, that's not allowed. To me, I don't care, okay? I'm old and decrepit, so I'm not going to be here that much longer. But, please, let's just keep it good, okay? Unnecessary traffic in and out of the classroom. Yeah, I know that sometimes those cell phones go off and you don't know if it's an emergency or not and you have to go. Understood. But, you know, if you can convince people, hey, this wasn't important, don't call me during class, you know, please do that. Eating or drinking. Okay? Now, if it happens to be that you're not going to make it through class unless you get some calories or some caffeine or something, it's fine with me if you do it. Now, if you make a mess, you're going to clean it up, okay? But don't be distracting to other people. I'd rather you be alert and awake than not, okay? So, I'm not really big. Wearing inappropriate clothing, sunglasses, hats, earphones, I don't care, you know? Now, earphones, if they're making so much noise that it's bothering people around you, I care, okay? Don't do that, okay? I don't care if you got a hat on. What difference does that make? Now, I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't say this because this is supposed to be appropriate. But I guess I can imagine what inappropriate clothing is. If it's going to be distracting to somebody else, don't do it, okay? So you can figure that out, okay? All right. Any questions on that? Now, course concerns. These are concerns we have about you. What if you have concerns with us? If you think you're not getting a fair shake, that I'm not treating you properly, that I'm not paying enough attention to your question, or whatever, please come and see me, okay? Let me know. Sometimes I'm rude, crude, and inappropriate, so let me know if you think I am. I don't want to be that, okay? Now, secondly, if you're unsuccessful there, speak with the department chair. Oh, that would be me, okay? So you can come see me again. I'll try to get on to me and get, yeah. If that doesn't work, you can go on to the Associate Dean, Dr. Carl Pruitt. He's got me in his office every Friday morning. He can jerk me in line, okay? After that, the dean, but go through the chain of command. I was in the Navy. Chain of command is important. Let's get it handled at the lowest level. We'll get it taken care of. Any questions on that? Okay? Now, this is important. I don't want to minimize this, but I don't want to overemphasize either. Discrimination, harassment, I've been teaching here almost in this room totally. Let me say this too. You notice we're awfully close to full. I see one chair there and one chair there, and that's about it. Okay? One back there. Okay? If we happen to overflow, and we're doing drop add this week, and we get more students than we can handle in this room, we'll probably move down the hall to 205. And so if you come up someday on a Tuesday or Thursday at 8:30 and we're not here, go down to 205. That means we outgrew the classroom. But it looks like we're going to make it this term. This will be the first term in several terms that we haven't had to move, but that's okay. Okay. Why did I think of that then? I don't know. I said I've been teaching mostly in this room. That's where it came from. And I can't even remember how many years, 25 or so years. You know, back when we were Western State Technical College, when we merged and became Austin State Community College, been teaching here, and I have seen basically no direct example of discrimination and harassment. Now, that doesn't say that it hasn't happened. I hope it hasn't happened, but it may mean that people just aren't stupid enough to do it in front of me, okay? But if you see or even sense that there's any discrimination or harassment going on, and I like to include bullying in case you don't, I want to include that. Anything such as that going on, please let us know. We don't want it happening here. It's inappropriate for it to happen here, so let us know. The closest thing I can recall, and the reason I'm giving this is because it fits in here. Back when we were Western State Technical College, we have a really good automotive program here at the college. And I was teaching the automotive math classes, okay? And they were some pretty big sized classes. And a lot of you are a little bit older students, and all of you are very mature students that I can tell, okay? But some of these automotive students were a little on the young side and really didn't care too much about being in classes. They loved the automotive part, but they didn't really like the math part and the English part and the sociology, that kind of stuff. And there was this one kid that was in the class. He wasn't a very good student, but he was okay. And most of them come every day because they are being paid. And he started missing. And after like the second or third day, I thought, hey, where is this? He said, oh, you didn't hear? We said, no, why? He said, well, one day at lunch, he just decided to start walking on people's cars in the parking lot. Somebody saw him, caught him, took him into the dean's office, and in a few minutes, he was out of the dean's office, off campus, and never seen again. Okay, that wasn't discrimination harassment, that was just stupidity, but it's a violation of state education program. It's inappropriate. We don't want it happening here, and we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it fairly. We'll deal with it, according to all things, but we don't want it happening. And that's why I told the story out of here, okay? But due process and everything else. Okay, disabilities. As you've already determined, I'm hard of hearing, so So I'm sort of sensitive to this. If you have any kind of a disability, hearing, reading, vision, dyslexia, any of these kind of things, HD, whatever all those letters are, I never can keep them straight, please let somebody know. And the somebody is Dr. Renee Herndon. She's here on this campus. She's head of this program for the whole college. Or if you're over on the Birmingham campus, Miss Janine McCoy-Jones on that campus handles ADA situations. Please, we want to be sure you have every opportunity to learn as much as you can. So let us know. We'll accommodate any way we can. All right. I take it that we must be getting near. We still got 3 minutes. The end. Okay, here's that academic calendar that I was talking about before. Today's the first day of class. Drop Ad begins today and ends next Wednesday. Monday, the 20th, is a holiday, Martin Luther King Day. Good news, bad news situation there, right? The bad news is the school's closed. No classes on that Monday. But the good news is it doesn't affect us any. We'll be here because we're a Tuesday, Thursday class. All right, good. All right. Here's the last day to withdraw and receive a partial refund. That's not the 60%. That means you're withdrawing from school completely and you can get a partial refund. That's not withdrawing from a class. Okay? Midterm progress report, that means right around midterm. There is the next week, Friday, March the 13th, there's that 60% completion date. If you're going to have to withdraw from a class, try to wait until after that date to withdraw. Now, if you're paying out of pocket, you can withdraw anytime you want to. But if you're on federal financial aid, you'll eliminate a lot of hassle if you wait until after that date. Spring break is the end of March. Last day to withdraw from classes. You need to know it, pay attention to that. If you wait until after this date, you're not withdrawing. You're going to get that D or F or whatever you score. Okay, final exams, final grade, spring commencement. Okay? Now, this next little thing here is a generalization. There's no guarantee we're going to keep up with this. We'll try. I'll do the best I can. But this is approximately how I'm going to approach. Midway through a chapter, we'll have a quiz and have a test at the end of that. Midway through a quiz, test at the end. Midway through a quiz. I doubt if we'll get down here. This is going to take longer. These are some long, long sections here. If you don't understand functions, I'm not going to rush through it because you're not ever going to understand the rest of it. So we're going to take it as we can. Always the odd number exercises will be your homework exercises. You don't have to do them all. I'll go over which ones I suggest that you do. Here's the reason I say that. Remember I said this author has more resources than any other author I've ever known. There is a thing called calcchat.com that he does. Every odd number exercises in the text he has at calcchat.com. You can go to, your grandmother can go to it. You don't have to be enrolled in the course. Anyone can go to this website and get a worked out solution for a homework exercise. Okay? Certain of these are also on CalcView that they do even more description. Okay? And then there's also LarsonPrecalculus.com. So he has 3 different websites that you can do. And the odd number exercises are at CalcChat, some of them at CalcView, and the LarsonPrecalculus.com, I'll tell you when you can use that. It has another. So that's why I found, and also the answers are in the back of the book. So when you try to do your homework exercises, look in the back of the book. If you got it right, go on to the next one. If you don't get it right, try to figure it out. If you can't, go to the CalcChat.com. So you have so many resources to follow up with. Okay? So this is how we're going to try to go. I doubt if I'll stay on this. For instance, we got to do more. We won't get started on the 14th on 1.4, or we do, it's not going to get the whole section done because I didn't even get to the rest of it. But at the very end, once I get all changes made, then there is this last page, the student acknowledgement form. Please, when I have got all the corrections made, if you'll either print this and sign it or just email it to me or whatever at the end of the term. Yeah?
Does the Sting gauge have
I think so. Okay? And since you asked that question, let me hit one more item here. Why is that not working? There it is. Okay. Any questions on the syllabus before it shuts down? It's going to shut down in a second. I know y'all want to go. I know you don't want to go, but you have to go. Why is this not clicking? I hate using Blackboard. Yuck! Let me do this. I may not do this anymore. I can't get this to shut down. It's not responding. Yuck. But you have a very good question there. I want to address it, and I want to show you where it is on Blackboard. Okay. There. It's finally responding. Okay. All right. Since you asked about that trial period, I don't know how Cengage works. You'll have to figure that out on your own. This thing is so slow. Okay. I don't think I'm going to teach from Blackboard again. This is so... Okay. Now the whole thing shut down. But in Blackboard, maybe it came back. Let's see. I swear this is so slow.
You have a subtitle that's on.
What's that? There is one of the next tabs. You remember the one that says syllabus, and there were a whole bunch under that. There's one of those that says something like class code. That's where your class code is for this one. If you go to Cengage Unlimited, in order to access your ebook and to get all the resources that they have for that, that's the class code you use. Okay? And this is shut down completely, and it's already past time, but you can find it on Blackboard. Okay. I'll show it to you next time. Okay. Good deal. Looks like a great class. We'll see you Tuesday. Have a good weekend.